Welcome to the Nourish to Thrive podcast, faith-forward, science-backed strategies for women who want more energy, less weight, and real answers. I'm your host, Tanya Pennington-Miller, a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and functional blood chemistry specialist with a master's degree in applied clinical nutrition. If you're tired of feeling dismissed by your doctor, confused by your labs, and stuck in survival mode, you're in the right place. Here, we simplify the science, we get to the root, and we anchor it all in truth. Because God made your body to heal and thrive, not just survive. It just needs the right kind of support and less noise. Hello, my friend. Welcome in, and I am so glad that you're back with me today. Now, before we dive in, I just have to tell you, we just got back from a 9-day cruise. We were celebrating our 10-year wedding anniversary, and we actually were gone a total of 10 days, and we had such a sweet trip. We brought our 15-month-old daughter along with us, and oh my goodness, she was the star of the show, and we really weren't sure how she was going to do her first time on a cruise. In fact, I thought maybe we bit off more than we could chew by, booking this 9-day cruise. Maybe we should have started with 5 days or something. But let me just tell you, we've already booked our next cruise. Everywhere we went, people were stopping to talk to her. She was talking back to them, playing peekaboo. The staff loved her so much. I mean, from the first lunch that we had there, they were having a stand in VIP lines to get faster service. She literally gave us this built-in VIP service everywhere we went. And we also brought along Yaya, my mom, which really was a blessing. She got to soak up that grandma time with her. And it just really gave Brett and me a chance to, have moments alone. And that ended up being one of the biggest takeaways from this trip. We realized how much we've missed just connecting, just the two of us. And so we decided that we are officially committing to 2 date nights per month. Will you please hold me accountable to that? This cruise was actually our first real, just us date since having Blakely. And it felt so good. We were sitting there at dinner time and going, oh my gosh, this is our first dinner without her. And we've honestly been fine without them. We're not sitting at home wishing that we could go to dinner. Life has just been full. But now, we've had this taste of this intentional time again. And we both know that we just need to keep going with it. And so that's the agreement we made. And I'm really, really excited about it. So now normally after a vacation, I feel like I need another vacation, right? Just to recover from the vacation that you went on, right? I know you know that feeling. Unpacking just feels impossible. Your energy is just off. Your digestion is a mess. And it just kind of takes this solid week to feel like yourself again. But I have to tell you, this time, I didn't feel that way. I came back feeling rested, feeling clear-headed, and just really ready to slip right back into life without that usual, needing to be in recovery mode for days. So, and that's even with delayed flights. We actually had an extra leg added to our flight, right? That didn't get us to our own tarmac until 2:30 in the morning. It was just crazy. And I think, really part of why I feel different is because of just what I've learned over the years, what I've been practicing over the years. There was a time when I'd come home from a trip, 5 pounds heavier, right? And I would tell myself oh, it'll come right off. I put it on quick, it's going to come off quick. And rarely did it come off. Okay. And maybe you've been there too, where you come home and you really do kind of slip right back into your normal eating, your normal workouts, your normal rhythms, but the weight just hangs on. It is so frustrating. I have been there more than one time. But here's what I think most women don't realize about this is there's actually a physiological reason for it. It's not just about the extra desserts or the late night dinners. For some of us, especially depending on our DNA, our bodies don't just gain fat on vacation. They also gain inflammation. And that inflammation can quite literally surround your fat cell, almost like locking the fat inside. So when you get home and you start, doing everything right again, it's not that your body is just being stubborn. It's that it's really trying to work through that layer of inflammation first. You're not going to lose stored body fat until that inflammation is gone. And that inflammation doesn't only come from food. It doesn't just come from what you ate. It comes from the travel itself, the flight, the disrupted sleep, the dehydration, the time zone changes, right? Like all of that creates stress on your system. So that's why I have learned to carry certain habits with me wherever I go. Things that help keep my inflammation down, to keep my digestion on track, and just keep my energy stable so that when I do come home, I still feel like myself. Because our health isn't something that we press the pause button on when we go on vacation. Okay. It's something that we carry with us. It just might look a little bit different on vacation than it does in your daily life. Okay. So in today's episode, I want to share with you some of the simple and just practical things that I did on our cruise that really helped me to stay grounded and stay healthy while still enjoying myself, because that is so important. These are really, a lot of them are second nature things for me now, but I think that they'll help you see that it really is possible to rest without, completely losing your rhythm. So, and here's where I want to start with the mindset that so many of us slip into around vacations. And we say things like, I'm on vacation, I'll deal with it later, right? Like, I'm just going to have fun. And sometimes it's not even this conscious decision. It's just this kind of subtle switch that flips when we're out of our normal rhythm because we deserve it, right? And for some women, that mindset actually starts before the vacation begins. And it might look like, cutting calories ahead of time, overtraining, like trying to earn the trip so that they can relax guilt-free once they get there. And then when they finally do unwind, they just kind of swing too hard in the other direction. Okay, overeating, overindulging, or just completely checking out because, again, they quote unquote earned it, right? It's that all or nothing cycle that leaves you coming home feeling worse than when you left. And here's what I want you to take away from this episode is that you don't take a break from your body. Your metabolism doesn't clock out. Your hormones don't take a week off. And certainly your nervous system doesn't just suddenly forget what stress feels like because you're at the beach, right? Now, all of this doesn't mean that you can't rest. It just means rest doesn't require neglect. And I'm going to say that again for the ladies in the back. Rest doesn't require neglect. You can rest without regressing. You can loosen the reins without completely losing your rhythm, right? And I've said this before, and I'll always say it. Health is not about perfection. It's about stewardship. It's about honoring the body that God gave you in every season, in every setting, in every time zone. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20 says, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." And that verse hits differently when you're traveling because it reminds you that even when routines change, the calling doesn't. You're still walking around in a body that is sacred, that is designed with intention, that's worthy of care. And honestly, that perspective changes everything. When I walk through airports or climb the stairs on a cruise ship or carry my daughter on my hip through the terminal, I don't see these things as a burden. I truly see it as a blessing. Because there was a time when my body felt exhausted, like it was inflamed. I just felt unsteady. And now every time I get to move, it feels like such a gift. So instead of saying, I'm on vacation and I'll start again when I get home, I want to help you reframe it. I want you instead to say, I'm on vacation and I get to keep honoring my body while I rest. And that simple shift from this feeling of discipline to a feeling of gratitude is what makes it all sustainable. And it's what makes coming home feel seamless and not like you're starting over. When I travel with this mindset, I don't come home feeling like I need to undo anything. Okay. And I'll be honest, this cruise was proof of that. Like, I did not gain a single pound, not because I restricted, not because I obsessed over anything, but because I just stayed in my rhythm. I moved, I nourished, I rested. I mean, I took a nap. I may have taken 2 naps. And I just continued to honor my body without overthinking it. And that's the fruit of stewardship. It's not perfection, it's peace. And it's what allows you to come home from a trip just feeling good in your body instead of feeling frustrated at your body. So let's talk about movement, because again, I don't see movement as something that I have to do. I see it as something that I get to do. And I should be clear that it has not always been this way for me. So, if you're not in that place right now, you definitely can get there. Back when I was competing in figure competitions, I wasn't in this place because, working out, exercise really was more of this job for me. So I didn't always feel that way when I went on vacation, but that was an extreme lifestyle, right? I don't live that lifestyle anymore. So now at the airport, for example, those like moving walkway things, those like, I don't know, they look like a big treadmill and allows you to just like stand on them and move from point A to point B without actually moving. I don't take those unless you are like sprinting to a gate that's already boarding. Like, just walk with your legs. We were created to move. We weren't designed to stand still and be carried everywhere by convenience. We just weren't. And the same goes for the stairs. I take them whenever I can, even if I'm holding my carry-on or my daughter or both, which I was on this trip. If I can lift weights in a gym, I can lift my suitcase up a flight of stairs. And when I look around and see so many people taking the escalator or the elevator for one single floor, it just reminds me how disconnected we've become from the way that God designed our bodies to function. And I'm not saying people are lazy. I'm not. There is no judgment. We just have this disconnect. Like, we just don't think about it. There's the elevator. I'm going to take it, even if I just have to go 1 floor up or 1 floor down. And so here's the mindset shift that I want you to catch. You don't wait until something becomes a necessity to do it. You do it because you can. Because movement isn't punishment, it's a privilege. We have forgotten that our bodies were made to move. And when you stop using them, they stop serving you the way that they were designed to. And it was really the same story on the cruise. Like, people would pile into these elevators to go up or down 1 floor. And meanwhile, my husband and I were taking the stairs everywhere. Not that we never took the elevator, we did. And especially when we were pushing our daughter in her little leaky trike stroller, of course, that was really the only option. Although I will say there were a couple of times where we carried her trike up or down the stairs because the elevators were just taking too long. But we were staying on deck 14 and the gym was on deck 6, and we took the stairs. We took the stairs down. We took the stairs up. And I just love it. And it's not because it's a workout. It's just because it's a way to stay connected with what my body was made to do. And I actually thought it was funny. The last day of the cruise, if you've been on a cruise before, kind of how crazy that last day can be when everyone is trying to disembark, right? Like, the elevators were packed. Suddenly, everyone was taking the stairs. Like, the stairs were packed. So it's not that they couldn't take them all week. It's just that they didn't. Again, there's that disconnect. And that's the piece that I want you to think about. Don't wait until something is this necessity where you have to do it. Move your body now because you get to. So now movement on a vacation also doesn't have to mean hitting the gym every day. Okay. Now, for my husband and I, it really did just become a part of our rhythm. We love working out together. We really enjoyed walking the jogging track that goes around the ship together. We enjoy talking, we enjoy laughing. Like it's just something that really connects us to each other and to God. Because at the end of the day, movement is a form of worship. It's a way to say, thank you, Lord, for a body that lets me do this. It's an act of gratitude for the strength that we've been given, a reminder that these bodies are temporary vessels meant to be cared for and not ignored. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 20 says, you were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. And that doesn't stop just because you're on vacation. So for us, we did work out in the gym most days of the cruise. By the way, these gyms on these cruise ships are incredible. And this particular one is probably the biggest gym that we've seen on a cruise. And we just made sure that we got in there almost daily. I think there were 2 days we didn't work out. When we're at home, we generally don't work out together because I might have, our daughter while he works out or vice versa. And so it was just really nice to be there with each other. And I tell you what, we got sore. We were really sore. Okay, so let's talk now about food, because this is where a lot of women either go off the rails on vacation or they swing too far into restriction, right? Because they're afraid of coming home feeling worse than before. And neither are great. So this is what I want you to hear. I did not track a single thing on this cruise. I did not log macros. I did not stress about any fasting windows, but I also didn't abandon the rhythm that keeps me feeling good. Okay. I still built every meal around protein because it's what I crave and it's what I feel best doing. And most of my meals were real. They were whole food, eggs, fish, steak, vegetables, fruit, healthy fats, right? But I also let myself enjoy the things that sounded good. So there were some mornings where I had half a bagel with cream cheese. It's really one of my guilty pleasures. Like I don't eat that regularly. So I just really enjoyed it. And then at dinner, if there was warm chocolate cake on the menu served with vanilla ice cream, if that was an option after dinner, I ordered it. But I also never felt like I had to finish the entire dessert, right? Like we don't have to eat the whole serving that they bring us. So I enjoyed what I wanted to enjoy. And here's the difference with it. I wasn't eating to escape. Like I was still eating with intention. I didn't grab random cookies from the buffet or just, eat dessert because it was there. There's soft serve being served all over the boat. Like I didn't just have those things. I chose what I actually wanted. I enjoyed it. And then I moved on without a single bit of guilt. And that's the difference. It's not perfection. It's really about this peace and this alignment. I don't earn my food or overthink it on vacation. I wasn't going into the gym to burn off what we ate. I nourish my body like someone who values it, and I still enjoy the extras with freedom and not with guilt, because I trust my rhythm and the rhythm that I've built and the rhythm that I was given. And I know how to care for what God has entrusted me with. And that mindset alone makes all the difference. Because when you go into a trip thinking, I'm on vacation, calories don't count, you really do end up feeling bloated and inflamed and just so frustrated when you get home. But when you go into it thinking, I want to feel good the whole time I'm here, and when I get home, then your choices just naturally start to reflect that. Now, let's talk alcohol for a second, because I know many of you like to enjoy a drink on vacation, and I get it. But if you're going to have one, be smart about it. Okay, skip the sugary mixers. Skip the frozen blended cocktails that spike your blood sugar and just really tank your energy. Okay, and while there is no alcohol that is good for you, there are some options that are going to be better than others. And what I recommend for clients who I know are going to partake in something, I recommend that you do something like a vodka with soda water. Okay, not to be confused with tonic water, which does have sugar. Soda water, like a club soda, and then squeeze in some fresh lemon and some fresh lime. Okay, the most important thing is to not get that double whammy of alcohol and sugar in your system at the same time. Okay, now, grace does not mean apathy. Okay, it's not about saying anything goes. It's really about a maturity. It's about knowing that food is a gift and not a coping mechanism. And when you honor that gift, you can enjoy what you love without disconnecting from how you want to feel. And that's what real freedom looks like around food. Not tracking every bite, not swinging between restriction and regret, just staying in rhythm. Okay, with your body, with your values, in the way that God designed you to live. Because when you can carry that mindset into something like a cruise or whatever kind of vacation you go on that you prefer and come home feeling good, not bloated, not inflamed, not defeated, that is proof of growth. That's what peace with food actually feels like. Now, also, another thing I never let go of, even on vacation, is my morning rhythm. I may not have had my specific morning mojo with me this time, but I still started every day with intention. So at home, I usually do about 12 to 16 ounces of room temperature or warm water. I add some sea salt. I squeeze lemon in there. I add apple cider vinegar. And I didn't take all those ingredients with me on this trip, but I still kept a rhythm in there. So now on mornings when I woke up before the sun, which I think there were only 2 mornings like this, I did put on my Luminette light therapy glasses that I've talked with you about before. And that just really helped to keep my circadian rhythm steady. They're so easy to put on. And especially with the time zone changes, it was really, really helpful. But most mornings I slept in. I slept in long enough for the sun to be up already and simply stepped outside on our deck and just let that natural sunlight do its job, which was really, really nice. Now, what I did do, even though we didn't have all of the ingredients for the morning mojo, we went and we grabbed a ginger shot. It was just fresh ginger and lemon. They actually make them right there at the juice and smoothie bar on the ship. And I think most people don't even realize that they're available. It quickly became one of our favorite little rituals. Like, it was simple, it was spicy. I don't know, some days were more spicy than others for some reason. And just like this really clean way to start the day. And since I always travel with my sea salt, again, something that's just second nature to me, I would add a pinch right into the shot for that extra mineral boost. So, and then just naturally, of course, I stayed on top of my water and my electrolytes. Like, we made sure that we kept the fridge in our cabin stocked with bottled water all the time, so that we were never tempted to skip on hydration. No, I didn't have my normal 40-ounce Brewmate water bottle, okay, which I very much prefer to drink out of. But we were traveling on an airplane, and I just knew that I probably wasn't. First of all, that Brewmate water bottle would have taken up a lot of space. We already had too many things that we had packed. And I knew I wasn't going to be walking around the cruise ship holding it. So I always talk about good, better, best. And I think that, having a stainless steel, something that you drink out of, is best. And drinking out of water bottles might just be considered good. I'm not a big fan of microplastics and those sort of things, right? But that was something that I made a conscious decision about. You know what? It's going to be easier for us to just drink out of the water bottles that we can get on the ship. And that's what I did. Okay, maybe it wasn't best, but it was still good. Now, these things that I do are not complicated things. They're just these small, consistent rhythms that make a really big difference in how your body handles the travel. Okay, especially when you're in the sun more often than normal, you're sweating more, and just really eating differently than usual. So, and I always anchor my mornings in the same spiritual rhythm as I do at home, but it might just look a little bit different. So even if I only had 5 minutes, to read some scripture, to say a quiet prayer while, my husband and my daughter were still sleeping, it really helped to ground my day. Because even that 5 minutes with God just really helps to reset our nervous system. Okay. Much more than scrolling ever will. And that's another thing I was very intentional about, was not scrolling much throughout this entire trip. And it just felt amazing. My mind was quieter, my spirit was lighter, and I just really came home feeling rested, truly rested, and also recharged. So I highly recommend doing that on vacations. I posted here and there in my stories, cute pictures of my daughter, some different things that we did. Of course, I posted on the date of our 10-year wedding anniversary, but really didn't do any scrolling on social media. And that was really, really nice. Okay. We talk about everything here, right? So I'm going to go there for a minute because this one matters so much, and maybe even more than you realize. But for years, anytime I traveled, my digestion would just completely shut down. And honestly, I think I know how it started, because back in high school, I cheered. Okay. I was a cheerleader, and even after high school, I continued to cheer on a competitive cheer team, and we traveled a lot for competitions. So we would share hotel rooms. We'd have 4 girls to a room. We had a blast, but I can still remember that feeling of not wanting to go poop with everybody right there. Okay. So I would just hold it. And I think even subconsciously I was holding it. I kind of just never had to go. And over time, it just really turned into a pattern. Anytime I was away from home, it was like my body decided, nope, we're not going to do that here. And so for years, I really just felt like being constipated on trips was normal for me. I'd go 3 days, sometimes longer, without going to the bathroom. And I'd come home feeling heavy and bloated and uncomfortable and just really toxic on the inside. But that did not happen on this cruise. I stayed regular every single day. And it's just a really big deal because it shows how much your body changes when it finally feels safe and supported. All those little rhythms, everything that we've talked about here, the hydration, the minerals, the movement, the food, the less stress, the naps, they tell your body you are safe. And when your body feels safe, digestion can do what God designed it to do. So no bloat, no discomfort, no, vacation digestion drama, just a body that's working the way that it's supposed to because it's finally in rhythm. It's such a simple but powerful reminder that your body is always listening. And when you honor it, it responds. So as I've been reflecting on this trip, I just keep thinking about how portable God's design really is. He didn't create our bodies to only function well when we're home and we're meal prepping and, on this perfect routine. He truly designed us with rhythms that travel with us because his creation moves in rhythm too. And so every time I chose to take the stairs, to move my body, to drink my water, to gaze toward the sun at sunrise, or, eat in a way that supported me, it was not about discipline. And I can't emphasize that enough. It was really about honor. It was a small way of saying, thank you, Lord, for this body. Thank you that I get to care for it even here. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. And that includes the way we care for our health, okay, even on vacation. And the truth is, you don't have to be perfect on vacation. You just have to be present. Okay, you can carry your health with you, your rhythms with you, your gratitude with you. And when you do, you come home not just refreshed, but realigned. Your body, your mind, your spirit, all in rhythm with how God designed you to live. And so I hope one of the key takeaways for you is this. There were a lot of things I didn't do on this trip that I normally do in my daily life. I mentioned I didn't make my morning mojo in the mornings. I didn't have my organic cream in my coffee, right? Or my free range eggs every morning. In fact, I didn't eat organic at all because it's just not an option on a cruise. I didn't cook my own food to know exactly what was in it. And even though I packed all of my supplements and took them with me, I definitely was not perfect with them. Okay. But I still felt really good throughout the cruise because when your rhythm is rooted in your daily life, that travels with you. I didn't need all of my usuals, to feel aligned because what really keeps me steady isn't, that perfect cream or the perfect eggs or the perfect supplement schedule. It's this awareness. It's the intention. It's the gratitude behind how I care for my body. And honestly, I think that's why I felt so good because all of those things that I do in my normal everyday life, those rhythms, those habits, I do it with consistency. They are what carried me through the not so perfect days on this trip, right? Those small and steady choices that I make at home are built on this foundation that is strong enough to hold me, even when my routine looked completely different. And that realization brought so much freedom. It reminded me that God doesn't ask for perfection. He invites us into presence. And when we stay connected to how we want to feel and to the one who gave us these bodies in the first place, we can walk in peace, no matter where we are. If this episode gave you a few ideas for your next trip, or even just reminded you that caring for your body doesn't have to stop on vacation, I would love to hear from you. Come share with me over on Instagram at tanya.pennington.miller. You can find the link in my show notes as well. And I genuinely just love hearing how these rhythms that we talk about here show up in your real life. And if you have a friend who's heading out on vacation soon, send her this episode. It might be the gentle reminder that she needs that rest and rhythm can coexist. And don't forget to follow the show so that you never miss an episode. And I will see you next week, my friend. That's it for today on the Nourish to Thrive podcast. If you found value here, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or send it to someone who's walking a similar path. Keep showing up, keep asking questions, and know that healing is possible, especially when you trust the one who designed your body to heal. Until next time, stay rooted in truth and nourished in grace.